And we are ready now to head on over to the Citadel. At least in theory. Let's see if there's anything else for us to check out here. I thought there might have been one other thing that gave us codex entry here, but at least maybe not at the moment.
Good timing, Commander. I was just about to bring us into the Citadel. See that taxpayer money at work.
So that's the Citadel. It's kind of big.
Look at the size of that ship.
The Ascension, flagship of the Citadel fleet.
Well, size isn't everything.
Why so touchy, Joker?
I'm just saying you need firepower, too.
Look at that monster. Its main gun could rip through the barriers in any ship in the Alliance fleet.
Good thing it's on our side, then.
Citadel Control, this is SSV Normandy, requesting permission to land.
Stand by for clearance, Normandy. Clearance granted. You may begin your approach. Transferring you to an Alliance operator.
Roger, Alliance Tower. Normandy out.
Normandy, this is Alliance Tower. Please proceed to Dock 422.
This is an outrage! The Council would step in if the Geth attacked a Turian colony?
The Turians don't found colonies on the borders of the Terminus systems, Ambassador.
Humanity was well aware of the risks when you went into the Traverse.
What about
So it's
Sarah?
our fault.
You can't just ignore a rogue Spectre. I demand action!
You don't get to make demands of the Council, Ambassador.
Citadel Security is investigating your charges against Saren. We will discuss the CSEC findings at the hearing, not before.
Captain Anderson, I see you brought half your crew with you.
Just the ground team from Eden Prime, in case you had any questions.
I have the mission reports. I assume they're accurate?
They are. Sounds like you convinced the Council to give us an audience.
That's something.
They were not happy about it. Saren's their top agent. They don't like him being accused of treason.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, like, he's pretty dangerous.
Saren's a threat to every human colony out there. He needs to be stopped. The Council has to listen to us.
Settle down, Commander. You've already done more than enough to jeopardize your candidacy for the Spectres. The mission on Eden Prime was a chance to prove you could get the job done. Instead, Nihilus ended up dead and the beacon was destroyed.
Yeah, see, I know it
That's
looks
Saren's
bad.
fault, not his.
But it's
Then we
Saren's
better
fault.
hope
I swear.
The CSEC investigation turns up evidence to support our accusations. Otherwise, the Council might use this as an excuse to keep you out of the Spectres. Come with me, Captain. I want to go over a few things before the hearing. Shepard, you and the others can meet us at the Citadel Tower, top level. I'll make sure you have clearance to get in.
And that's why I hate politicians.
Alright. So, we are now in the Citadel, which is basically the hub of Citadel Space. Well, Citadel Space is named after the Citadel because this is basically, yeah, the hub of the civilized part of the galaxy, rather than the lawless terminus systems that we were learning a bit about previously. See if Caden and Ashley have anything to say about it.
Big place.
You're not wrong.
I can't tell the aliens from the animals.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely have some new stuff for us to check out around here. Let's give it a look. What is this? Computer count? Oh, console has decryption. Maybe we give this a look now, shall we? Let's see. I don't like this. Not a great... Oh, here's our opening. Huzzah! Alliance Patrol Report. Captain Hendrickson reported some unusual energy readings during a patrol of the Argus Rho cluster. She had particular concerns about the Hydra system, but was recalled before her team could investigate further. No patrols are scheduled for that sector. do we want to send a recon team? Okay. That sounds like that's given us an assignment here. So, we didn't spend much time looking at our journal previously, but just to give you a bit of an overview, our journal is split into two sections here, missions and assignments, which sound the same. They are very similar. Missions is basically the main quest, if you will, whereas assignments are the side quests. So that means missions are going to be mandatory, whereas assignments are going to be optional. And this game is pretty huge, and that means we are going to have lots, I mean lots of side quests that we can do, and I think we are going to do as many as we can, in short. So, for that reason, I believe we will be looking at some point to pursue the unusual readings. While on Citadel, you uncovered an Alliance patrol report. One of the patrols mentioned some strange activity in the Hydra system of the Argus Row cluster. So, that's somewhere else in space. So, obviously that's not a right now type of thing, but it's now on our list of to-dos. The main thing we're supposed to do is, well, we've now completed the prologue for trying to find the beacon. Beacon on Eden Prime was destroyed, though, unfortunately. Before it self-destructed, it burned horrific images of death and galactic destruction into your mind. Whether these are images of the past or warnings of the future, you can't really say. But our primary objective at the moment is, of course, to expose Saren. We have to prove to the Citadel Council that Saren, one of their Spectre agents, and apparently their favorite Spectre agent, or certainly one of them, has gone rogue. So, those are the big things. And we have gotten a lot, I mean a lot, of Codex entries as of late. Since we are now in the Citadel, and we're talking to the Council, probably does make some sense to read up a bit on that.
The Citadel is an ancient deep space station, presumably constructed by the Protheans. Since the Prothean extinction, numerous species have come to call the Citadel home. It serves as the political, cultural, and financial capital of the galactic community. To represent their interests, most species maintain embassies on the Presidium, the Citadel's inner ring. The Citadel Tower in the center of the Presidium holds the Citadel Council chambers. Council affairs often have far-reaching effects on the rest of the galactic community. 5 arms, known as the wards.
So this is the
Presidium.
That's the tower, and
Their
these
inner
big things
surfaces
here are
have
the
been
wards.
built into cities, populated by millions of inhabitants from across the galaxy. The Citadel is virtually indestructible. If attacked, the station can close its arms to form a solid, impregnable shell. For as long as the station has existed, an enigmatic race called the Keepers has maintained it.
Okay, so that's more info on the Citadel itself. We were just talking via intercom, or whatever you want to call it, to the Citadel Council, though.
The Council is an executive committee composed of representatives from the Asari Republics, the Turian Hierarchy, and the Solarian Union. Though they have no official power over the independent governments of other species, the Council's decisions carry great weight throughout the galaxy. No single Council race is strong enough to defy the other two, and all have a vested interest in compromise and cooperation. Each of the Council species has general characteristics associated with the various aspects of governing the galaxy. The Asari are typically seen as diplomats and mediators. The Solarians gather intelligence and information. The Turians provide the bulk of the military and peacekeeping forces. Any species granted an embassy on the Citadel is considered an associate member, bound by the accords of the Citadel Conventions. Associate members may bring issues to the attention of the Council, though they have no input on the decision. The Human Systems Alliance became an associate member of the Citadel in 2165.
So that means that the 3 most esteemed races, if you will, in the Citadel are the Turians, which are the people who we started to meet previously. Nihilus was a Turian, Saren is a Turian, and Asari and Solarians, neither of which we've heard much about yet. But then the other associate members, including humans, although they may not have as powerful a role because they don't have a member on the Council, they can have offices set up at the Presidium where they can, like I was saying, raise issues for the Council to consider. I think that's everything in terms of our primary ones. let's see on the secondary. No, not that one. On the secondary side. So I don't think we've done much of any of these yet. Let's see. Where should we start? Maybe Citadel and Galactic Government? So, although the Citadel is equipped with massive effect generating element 0 cores, most of the galaxy on the station, most of the gravity on the station, I should say, is by the centrifugal force of rotation. Rotation is 3.5 minutes per revolution. It is 1.02 Earth gravities, and the rotational gravity is that's on in the wards, I should say. So again, those arms that extend like that, where the vast majority of the population lives. Whereas the Presidium, which is this outer circle where we currently are, the gravity is actually considerably less, just 0.3 Earths. And there you see the size of it, and the population is 13.2 million, not including Keepers, which we heard a little bit about before. They are the race that basically helps maintain the Citadel. And the gross weight, don't know how they ever were able to estimate this, but 7.11 billion metric tons. And the height is about 1 kilometer. Let's see, what else is particularly relevant here? If we go to technology, what I'd love to see is just if we have anything on Mass Effect itself and Elements 0, though I'm not sure we have it yet. Although it's going to... I'm pretty sure Biotics is going to at least allude to it here. So, Biotics, which are, again, those telekinetic abilities that we have used a little bit of already. Biotics manipulate Mass Effect fields using dozens of Element 0 nodules within their nervous systems that react to electric stimuli from the brain. Amplifiers allow Biotics to synchronize the nodules so they can form fields large and strong enough for practical use. Amplifiers can improve a specific discipline or talent. An implant is a surgically embedded interface port into which amps are plugged in. On humans, the implant is usually placed at the base of the skull for convenient access, like the Matrix. Though the user must be careful to keep it free of contaminants. Implant ports can fit a variety of amps, and there is a growing market for modifications and add-ons. The finest quality implants and amps are manufactured by Asari artisans, but the Alliance's L3 implants, first deployed in 2170, are a significant step forward. Okay? Then, let's see. Why don't we read up a little bit more on the N7 Alliance, and if we have info on Mass Effect fields, then that'd be helpful in weapons, armor, and equipment. I'm just not sure what it technically falls under. I would have thought it'd be technology. So let's see. Ashore. When a cruise ship leaves the vessel, they are quote-unquote ashore. Though normally used regarding planets, it can refer to boarding a space station. Away. When a ship releases the equipment tethering it to a space station or surface deck, it is away. Aye aye, the proper way to acknowledge an order. If told to attack, the correct response is aye aye, sir. If asked, are you proud to be a Marine, the correct response is yes, sir. ASAP, pronounced ASAP, an acronym for as soon as possible. Belay, meaning stop or cease. Bridge, the navigation center of a spacecraft where the steering is done. Captain's mast, non-judicial disciplinary proceedings by unit commanders. CIC's Combat Information Center, the command center of a spacecraft. The CIC is filled with sensor displays to make sense out of the chaos of combat. DC is damage control, the contaminant and repair of damage to a spacecraft. ECM is electronic countermeasures used to avoid enemy sensors from passive emissions masking to active jamming. EVA is extravehicular activity, the time spent in a pressure suit outside of a vehicle, spacecraft, or station. Flank. Flank is the side of a military formation. Since the soldiers are facing elsewhere, an enemy that can attack on the flank can often turn it or roll it up. FNG is freaking new guys. A derisive term for inexperienced personnel, you don't say. The freaking new guys. Ground side is the surface of a planet. Helmsman is the crew member who pilots a spacecraft. LADAR? Light amplified detection and ranging. An active sensing that bounces lasers off an object to determine its bearing and distance. LADAR has sufficient resolution that the data can be reconstructed into an image. Shore party, spacecraft crew sent ashore on official business. Silent running, an old submariner's term used aboard the Normandy to denote when stealth systems are active. SITREP, abbreviation of Situation Report, an elevation of the current military situation. Spacer, someone who has spent most of their life in space. And XO, executive officer, second in command of an Alliance warship. The XO is responsible for administrative and personnel matters. So, this is maybe sort of a good example of, generally speaking, the type of thing that we'll see in this secondary codex, where it's not going to be totally pertinent to all the things that we're doing here. We could, of course, go on the game without knowing all this lingo here. We would be fine. But it certainly can help add additional depth and varies from time to time as to just how much it might tie into any one thing that you happen to be doing. Like, for example, weapon upgrades. The development of practical manufacturing omni-tools allow modern militaries a great deal of flexibility in equipment loadouts. A vast number of field modification kits, or upgrades, are available for common equipment such as weapons, armor, omni-tools, biotic amps, and even grenades. An upgrade kit typically consists of less than a dozen unique parts and an optical storage disk. When loaded into an Omni-tool, the OSD provides all technical specifications required to manufacture the tools and additional parts necessary to install the upgrade onto another piece of equipment. Assembly is typically modular, and installation can be completed in less than a minute. Since Omni-tools are designed to use common battlefield salvage materials such as plastics, ceramics, and light metals, rendered into semi-molten Omni-gel for quick use. Again, so Omni-gel, like I said, is sort of like a do-it-all raw material. It is quite possible for a trained soldier carrying upgrade kits to customize gear on the battlefield to fit the current tactical situation, as we were already starting to do. Alright, so I think that's enough codex for now. Let's explore the Citadel. So like I said, we are currently in the Proscenium, and this is sort of the... Maybe we even take a quick look at our map here. So, we zoom out. Oh, this is as far as we can zoom out. So, we are right here at the moment. We are sort of in the embassy area of the Proscenium. So, lots of diplomats in this area, and we are just in Udina's office, which is the guy who's the human ambassador that we were just chatting with. Then, we'll take it one step at a time. We'll leave it at that for now. And we now have perhaps my favorite species in Mass Effect.
This is serious. My reputation is at stake. I spoke with the consort in confidence, and her alone, and she betrayed that confidence. All right. I will look into it for you. In the meantime, do not do anything rash.
Okay. Zeltan, can we do something to help you here?
Hello there, human. Sincere apology, but I am here on business and cannot be distracted right now.
Something wrong?
You seem distressed. Is there something I can do to help?
Alarmed response. You overheard that, did you?
That we did.
This is all going so wrong, and it is the Asari consort's fault. She's the one who started all this.
What exactly is all this?
What did this Asari do to get you so upset?
I cannot speak more about this problem. It is too sensitive. Suffice it to say, she has compromised my authority as a diplomat.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. Where is she?
Where can I find this Asari consort?
She is across the bridge from here. Her offices are easy enough to spot. Good day, human.
So, that is, well, an Elcor.
Pleased greeting.
As is Caitlin here.
Human, it is always good to see your kind. I am Ambassador Caitlin. Genuine query. Is there something I can do for you this day?
And I just love them. They are so fantastic. Can you tell us more about the Elcor? That might be helpful.
Tell me more about your species.
Genuine enthusiasm. I delight in telling the history of my people. It is agreeable to share our culture with others.
Okay. Tell us about your history first, maybe.
Tell me about the history and origins of the Elcor.
The Elcor were just beginning to explore Council space when the Asari first made contact with us. With their help, we discovered the relay closest to our system, and from there the Citadel. Proudly, within one lifetime we established a regular route to the Citadel, and quickly became one of the more active species living on this great station.
Well done. What about your culture?
I'd like to know more about the culture of the Elcor.
Frankly, we Elcor prefer the safety and familiarity of our own colonies to the confines of space travel. Our society is built on small, tight-knit groups. Though we are always welcoming to outsiders, our government tends to be very stable. Our people are not very comfortable with sudden changes.
Okay. What about your speech? You may have noticed they have a certain speech pattern, if you will.
Why do you explain what you're about to say?
Our people communicate less through words and more through scent and slight movements. Plainly, we discovered our vocal expression was not enough to convey the feelings of our conversations to other species.
They know they have a
Why
monotone.
do you bother, Kalen? These Earth Clan don't really care about our ways.
So they state how they're feeling
Response, Din.
before they start any
I
sentence.
don't truly believe that, and if you do, I am very sorry for you.
Such as that right there. Which is just so hilarious, especially from such big, hulking creatures as they are. And, it's so wholesome. Like, remorseful response in a monotone. What about your ambassadorship?
What do you do here?
Modestly, I work to bring the problems and the requests of the Elcor groups to the attention of the Council.
Ha! They only give us these positions to keep us quiet. The Council doesn't care about our races.
Chastising rebuke. Your tone is inappropriate, Din. Human is not to blame for your malcontent or your misconceived suspicions.
Oh man, putting him in his place with a chastising rebuke. Okay, that looks like it's all we can do then with Caitlin here.
Goodbye, Ambassador.
Sincere farewell. Good day to you, human. Enjoy your time on the Citadel.
Alright. I think it is worth reading up a little bit on the Elcor, though, because I just love them.
The Elcor are a Citadel species native to the high-gravity world Dakuna. They are massive creatures, standing on 4 muscular legs for increased stability. Elcor move slowly, an evolved response to an environment where a fall can be lethal. This has colored their psychology, making them deliberate and conservative. Elcor's speech is ponderous and monotone. Among themselves, scent, slight movements, and sub-vocalized infrasound convey shades of meaning that make a human smile seem as subtle as a fireworks display. Since their subtlety can lead to misunderstandings with other species, the Elcor often go out of their way to clarify when they are being sarcastic, amused, or angry. Dakuna's high gravity impedes mountain formation. Most of the world consists of flat, open plains, which prehistoric Elcor wandered across in small family bands. Modern Elcor still prefer open sky, and can become restless and uncomfortable on long starship journeys.
So there you have it. It's a little more on the Elcor and why they speak that way, and a little more on their culture as well. As for Din here, seemed like you were being, well, a little bit, well, you were quite critical of the Council.
Earth Clan, you are in the wrong place, I think. Your ambassador is next door in the large office.
Oh, we get the large office.
Don't be so rude, Dan. At least introduce yourself.
I am Din Korlak, Volus Ambassador. Is there something I can do for you, Earth Clan?
Earth Clan. Why are you so cranky? No, let's start by learning more about the Volus. You are the ambassador for the Volus.
I'd like to know more about the Volus.
I'm sure our history and culture would bore you, Earth Clan.
Well, actually, could you tell us more about your history and culture?
Actually, I would like to know more about your history.
My people came to the Citadel shortly after the Asari and Solarians had discovered it. We were instrumental in establishing a standardized galactic economy. However, despite our long association with the Citadel and our many contributions to galactic society, we still do not hold a seat on the Council.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason for that bitterness, is that they've been here for a long time and they feel like they deserve a spot on the Council and they have not gotten one. What about your culture, though?
Tell me about Volus culture.
We are tribal by nature, but our ways are not violent. We barter and trade our lands and tribe members in order to increase status. Larger tribes often engulf smaller ones and eventually split again. Our society is very malleable, and our government is always shifting and changing. Since we're not physically adept, we trade our services for protection.
Yeah, so very smart species, known well for their aptness for business and commerce, but as he was saying, not the most physically imposing, and therefore rely on other species for the military support. Let's see. Other than that, it does seem as though you're a little bit dissatisfied with, I'm not sure if this is actually referring to the embassy itself and how you were talking about how the humans get the big one, the big office, whereas you have to share this one with the Elcor.
What is this place?
You are in the embassy for the Volus and the Elcor.
Your ambassador is next door, in his own office.
In this shared space, I aid my fellow Volus when I'm not being interrupted.
Oh, well, excuse me. What about specifically your ambassadorship?
What is it you do here?
I look out for the best interests of the Volus people. No easy task considering how often we are overlooked by the Council.
Chastising rebuke, Din. The Council favors your species greatly.
You are naive. The Earth Clan will be invited to the Council long before our species will.
Yeah, so is that how it works? As species get more involved and, held in higher regard in the Council and the Citadel world, they can potentially join the Council? Actually have a member of the Council? Because at the moment it's just Turians, Asari, and Solarians?
Why aren't the Volus or Elcor part of the Council?
All species must prove themselves before they join the Council. All but the Earth Clans, it would seem.
Yeah, you don't like humans, do you?
Ignore the Volus ambassador, human. He is incorrect in his assessment.
Really? How long have we been waiting? How long do you think we'll continue to wait? Bah, this talk is wasted on the humans.
Yeah, and so a lot of this context is that, remember that humans only very recently appeared on the galactic stage, where we got into that fight with the Turians, and only after the Asari stepped in and played peacekeepers did we sort of come to terms with the Turians and other aliens. Whereas other aliens met each other much earlier on, have known each other, and have been inhabiting the Citadel, and so have built this rapport with one another, and therefore trust each other, and in the case of the Volus, have been here for a while and are waiting for that opportunity to finally get a seat in the Council, but it has not yet happened.
What is it you do here?
Oh, that's not what I meant to do.
I look out for the best interests
Actually,
of
not sure if I can skip. Okay, hold on. What I meant to do. Why are you so cranky?
Will be invited to the Council long before our species will.
You seem to have a bit of a chip on your shoulder, Din.
You humans are new to the Citadel, and yet the Council has granted you great favor.
Exactly, yeah.
Chastising rebuke, Din. Your species has always been granted many concessions. Volus territory has expanded tenfold since coming to the Citadel.
Details. We still have no
Details.
real say
Who
in
needs them,
decisions
right?
that affect Citadel space.
Okay, It seems like that is everything we can do when chatting with you, though, so I should go.
Goodbye, Ambassador.
Yes.
And there we
Good
actually
day, Earth
leveled up by getting more codex entries. So yes, it is true. We get the experience from that, and in some cases it's enough to actually level up. This, well, we'll learn more about what this is later on. Don't worry. We do, however, that means, of course, have some skill points to spend. So, let's see. What would we like to put those skill points in? How high do we need to get into throw before we unlock lift? We need to be 7. Which we can't quite get that high up just yet, unfortunately. In that case, I think what we do here... We keep on going into Sentinel. Well, we haven't gone in there at all yet, but if we get all the way over here, then we get Marksman, which is actually, I believe, going to be one of the only, if not the only, more weapons-oriented skill here. Because it boosts our accuracy, gives us additional damage, and headshot damage, so we can use that to, well, be more effective with our pistol. That's potentially worth doing, although that is, in many cases, more so sort of compensating for our weakness rather than emphasizing our strength. And so for that reason, I think we probably will still focus on some of these other things here. I would like to get lift unlocked as soon as possible, so maybe we throw a couple points in throw, and then as soon as we can get this last level, we're close to being able to do that. And then, other than that, I mean, as we were seeing, there are some items, some crates and what have you, that we are not going to be able to unlock unless we have a high enough electronic skill. So for that reason, I think there is some reason to put some time investing in that point, or that tree, that skill. Let's see. As for Caden, we were focusing on the first aid. And we just recently unlocked Neural Shock. He is a nifty one. And I do wonder if maybe we go more all out there. Oh, actually, you can't go any further. That's all great out there. Interesting. Okay. In that case, why don't we continue going with Barrier on you? And then, Ashley, for you, we were trying to get to Immunity, and in this case, you can only take one more point in Fitness. It's not going to let us go any further than that. You're not going to be able to make it there yet. Why don't we, in the meantime, in that case, focus on giving you a little bit more in the way of weapon skills, because at the moment, we are relying pretty heavily on you for that. Okay. And that should do the trick. So, there's the embassy for the Volus and the Elcor. That's the human embassy that we were just in previously. And this door looks locked. Let's head this way. To get out into the main area of the Presidium.
Good day, Commander. The human ambassador is up the stairs, first room on the right.
Commander?
You know who I am?
You know who we are?
Yes, I receive reports on all newly arrived dignitaries and notable people.
Oh, I suppose we fit that description then. Can you tell us a little bit more about where we are?
What is this place?
This is the Presidium. More specifically, you are at the Citadel embassies. If you have more questions, please access Avina.
Avina, you say?
What's that?
Who is this?
Oh, Avina is the virtual guide for the Citadel. Feel free to access the terminal yourself.
Okay. Then, can I ask you a personal question?
What's your name? What do you do here?
My name is Safiria. I'm the administrative assistant for the embassies.
Okay. You do a lot here?
You seem to be distracted.
The embassies are the hub of all Citadel politics. When you represent trillions of citizens, it tends to get a little busy.
Alright. I suppose so. That seems like all we can ask you about, though.
I should be going now.
Have a pleasant day.
Okay. Cool. Let's take a quick second to see what, if anything, is up in this direction. Because if we do, we'll see a diplomat.
I can't believe I landed a job here. This place is fantastic.
I suppose you're not wrong. Oh, diplomatic archive. Okay, gives us another codex entry. Korean dude chilling over there, more Elcor.
Human, delighted, welcome. It is good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Okay, that looks like everything in here. As for, that's where we came in here. Let's go this direction next. Executor Palin. Hello.
Commander Shepard, I didn't expect to see you here. Did Ambassador Udina send you?
Who are you?
Have we met before?
No, but I know you well enough. I'm Executor Palin, head of CSEC. It's my job to know when someone like you arrives on the Citadel. Was there something you needed, Commander?
Oh? Tell us more about CSEC, then.
Tell me about CSEC.
CSEC provides necessary police and security services throughout the Citadel. We're a civilian government agency, though many of our members have had military training. Of course, as the CSEC representative to the Council, I spend most of my time liaising between the two.
Okay. Then what about attitude towards humans? I mean, you are a Turian, and we have heard Turians tend not to think very highly of humans.
I get the feeling you're not too fond of humans.
No, I just don't trust your kind. Not yet. You humans are eager to take all the power you can get, and you're being given a lot. If the Council wants to make humanity their new favorite pet, that's their business. But I don't have to like it.
Then we can go, but we're not favorites. So, generally speaking, when we have dialogue options like this, ones that are on the top half are going to be ones that are more Paragon-oriented, more sort of virtuous, if you will, whereas the ones on the bottom half are going to be generally more renegade-like, and so more aggressive and confrontational. So, in this case, you know, it's like kind of picking a fight with this guy a little bit, you know, trying to argue that, well, you know, we're not getting that much preferential treatment, right? It's deserved, isn't it? So, we might avoid that, given how, like I said, I think for the most part, we're going to focus on going the Paragon route here. But, as for the Spectres, now, we've heard that, so sure, you're the leader of CSEC, so you run the security at the Citadel, and we've learned that the Spectres act outside of the law in many cases, so I can't imagine you were a big fan of them.
What do you know about the Spectres?
They're the right hand of the Council, or so they like to be called. More like the underhanded side of the Council.
Oh, for, that was Intimidate. So like these ones here, you'll see they aren't colored, so we could still do them. It's possible. It is possible. But it's the kind of dialogue options that, tend to give us a little bit of Paragon points or a little bit of Renegade points. So remember how every once in a while in the bottom right corner we'll get that like +2 or +4 Paragon, +2 or +4 Renegade, or, you know, usually it's a relatively small number like that. And that is because during the actual conversations, we chose to take options that were a little bit more Paragon-like or Renegade-like. And so these ones, we can take them. They're not a different color, which means that they don't require you to have Charm, which is the one that we have put some points in, or Intimidate, which is the one that we did not choose to take any points in, but they sort of still contribute toward the general Paragon and Renegade dynamic. Now, there are some things that we can do that are not tied to... There are a lot of things we can do that are not tied to dialogue options that will affect our Paragon and Renegade values. We haven't seen too many of those yet, but that will definitely be a factor later on.
What do you have against the Spectres?
I can't abide any organization that considers itself above the law.
Understandable for
Especially
someone
when
in
it's
law
left up to
enforcement.
each individual Spectre to decide when and how to bend the rules.
Yeah, so like here, for example, this one is not grayed out, which means we can still use it. It's not red, which means we aren't required to use Intimidate to make it happen, but because it's on the lower half of this dialogue option, that tends to mean that this would be a more Renegade-like dialogue option that has the chance of increasing our renegade score. Now, there isn't actually... I'm trying to remember how the exact... how the game actually calculates the effects of your Paragon and Renegade meter. I think it's... the way that it works is such that... or this might be Mass Effect 2, where this starts to be the way that it works, but at least in one of them, it is that basically the game looks at how full is your Paragon or Renegade meter relative to the total amount that you could possibly have at that stage. So, like, for example, if, say, through all of the things that we've done over the course of the game, it would be possible for us to have 100 Renegade points, and we have 0, then obviously it's going to say, you know, like, if there's a Renegade-like action, then that may not be open to us. Whereas, I'm thinking this must be Mass Effect 2 where this starts happening. I think. Because otherwise that would be kind of conflicting with the charm and intimidate, although that I'd have to look that up to remind myself. But, you know, we can check this out just to see what course of action or how exactly this conversation path leads us, because I anticipate this will be a little bit more aggressive and confrontational.
Sometimes you have to bend the law to keep people safe.
I've been with CSEC for 30 years. I've never had to break the law to do my job, not once.
Yeah, right. You expect us to believe none of your officers are corrupt?
There are over 200,000 CSEC agents. Some of them are going to be bad. But we don't turn a blind eye to corruption like the Spectres do. We do our best to find and punish any officer who breaks the law. Spectres, they'll never come under that kind of scrutiny.
So yeah, he's critical of the Spectres because it's hard for anyone to hold them accountable other than just the Council, whereas for CSEC that he runs, you know, if there's a bad officer that he knows about, they can fire them, or they can, you know, reprimand them, what have you. But we can continue going along this route and say, well, you know, the Spectres are kind of a big deal. They're not just a simple police officer. Yeah, so basically he runs the police force, more or less.
The galaxy needs people like that. People who do the dirty jobs.
I agree. But they need to be held to a higher standard. They need to be accountable. Saren's out of control. We both know that. But because he's a Spectre, the Council doesn't want to do anything about it.
Interesting.
Is that the kind of person this galaxy needs?
So, this is a good example of the conversation paths that we took. Yes, we're absolutely sort of the renegade line of thought of whatever it takes to get the job done is okay. The ends justify the means. If that means you need to break the law in order to achieve your objective, then it's worth it. Whereas the Paragon method is more, okay, we need to make sure that we do this the right way. And, you know, the little steps that we take along the way do matter. And so, in this case, he's basically challenging us, you know, is it okay for you to break the law if it means you get to do and achieve what you meant to achieve? Or is that not something that you should be okay with? And I would argue that, for the most part, that's something that we would be trying to not do. We're not trying to be, you know, pushing the limits of the law.
But not all Spectres are like Saren.
True. But the potential is always there.
Alright, fair enough. So yeah, that's a lot about Spectres. And let's see, we've asked him about everything except for the investigation.
Tell me about your investigation into Saren.
Sorry.
You are leading it.
I don't make a habit of giving out details about ongoing investigations.
Alright, good answer, I suppose. Because remember, basically, Captain Anderson, I believe, was the one who was saying that, or possibly even Ambassador Udina, the human ambassador, was saying, well, you know, at this stage, we're basically just relying on CSEC here to give us a report that will hopefully be pretty, or make Saren look pretty bad. And, you know, at this stage, the Council is much more likely to believe CSEC than they are to believe us and Shepard's bad dreams. That, you know, they're not gonna put any weight into that. So
I'll be going now.
Goodbye.
Hopefully, that report is something that will help us out.